So ever since your last post on Facebook, you know, we all know you've handed in your resignation, you've left the job completely now. But now you've gone public with the information. How has it been received by basically the community and school, the college, and?
So the moment I went public, it's just I've been overwhelmed by the response that I've received. Just the sheer amount of support that I've received from the community has been moving, and the support is unbelievable. Like the support that's been from like colleagues, from academics across the country, even response from Palestinians themselves.
No way.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. Palestinians themselves, or Palestinian people themselves, which is probably the most significant out of all, because that shows that like we're with you. Alhamdulillah, we're with you in this cause. Alhamdulillah, that means the most to us. So Palestinians, ulama have reached out to me. I've made public statements. Councillors, so people from different backgrounds, different walks of life have come out. It's just the support's been amazing in the community, alhamdulillah, and I'm proud to be one of the community, alhamdulillah. So the support's been really good, alhamdulillah, from the community.
Today's podcast is sponsored by 2 companies.
This video is sponsored by Chai Pani Blackburn, the hottest place to get your Karak chai in South Asian street foods. Open from early and closes late means you'll never miss out on all your favorite foods. With a great indoor seating area with friendly staff at your service to a large shared car park with a drive-through style attendant taking your order so you don't have to leave the comfort of your vehicle. It's a perfect spot to meet and catch up with friends, so make sure you head down to Chai Pani Blackburn in partnership with Brain Cell Squared.
The second sponsors is a company called Tiny Tastes, based in Blackburn, Lancashire. Are you guys ready for this one? Because Tiny Tastes have sent me a sample of their product. And what Tiny Taste is, you've heard of Dubai chocolate. Tiny Tastes have incorporated Dubai chocolate into small bite-sized chocolates with different toppings on top. So we have a pistachio one, we have a Biscoff one, and we have an almond one. I've tried these before and they're absolutely amazing. I think we'll give it a go.
Mashallah.
Which one?
Almond, please.
Almond.
Me wander off.
Which one?
Pistachio.
We've got our awesome manager. Yes.
The camera guy.
Camera manager, HR, everything.
Almond one's really good. Almond one is really good. Almond's awesome.
So this is what you're working with. Absolutely amazing. Check them out. They're on Instagram.
Nice, isn't it? Oh, that's nice.
It is, isn't it? Talking about the reaction to public, there's also been a reaction on media.
Yes.
Many different outlets, big outlets, have picked up on this story. You've got outlets, big outlets like 5 Pillars, who have talked about this on an article. But we'll focus on Lancashire Telegraph, as they were the first significant big outlet to report on this. What has been the reaction from Lancashire Telegraph?
Yes, so the Lancashire Telegraph contacted the college first, prior to contacting myself, and they also, or prior to speaking to myself, I should say, they'd already got in contact with me within an hour of the statement going public. They had already made initial contact. But the conversation took place the day after, following their contact with the college. And also they've made contact with the Department for Education as well.
Okay.
So if we deal with the response from the college has relied primarily on the guidance from the Department for Education, the DFE. Now, what the argument has been is that DFE have some guidance on political impartiality. in schools, and that's been the basis of their argument. The college's argument is that we don't want to fall foul of that political impartiality that we have to maintain. That's one argument. The other argument that they've made is that the event was that the college needs to avoid being political and exclusionary. They're the terms that have been used in their statement. So political and exclusionary. So let's deal with that aspect first in terms of the college not being political or exclusionary. So the term political. So in terms of political activity in the college, is the argument that there is no political activity in college? Because there's clear political activity. So for example, when we have freshers, political parties are allowed to come and have stalls.
Yeah.
Similarly, we've had hustings at college whilst I've been there at the college. Remembrance Day takes place. There's so many things that are political that do take place. Ukraine, the fundraiser that took place, of course. So there's a whole host of things that are political and do take place because it's seen as part of education. That students come to the college, including young people, and they need to be educated about the world they live in, and part of that is politics.
You can't isolate.
Of course. So that argument of we're not political is disingenuous because it's not being consistently applied. That it's only political when it comes to Palestine. When it comes to other issues, how come we not talk about politics then? So that's one issue. The other issue is about exclusionary. So the term exclusionary has been used by the college. So what's the argument there? The argument is having an event about Palestine would be deemed as exclusionary. So then the question that arises is that are we allowed to speak about any country? So if you have an event about Ukraine, so would that be deemed exclusionary? Exactly. Or let's take that even beyond politics. Let's talk about religion. So if we have a carol service, is that carol service exclusionary because it's about Christians and not including others? Because that happens every year. Similarly, this year, and something we're going to discuss is the iftar event. So if the iftar event exclusionary because it's associated with the Islamic faith. So if we go down the route of exclusionary, then what is exclusionary? Where's the line between something being exclusionary and something being part and parcel of the diversity that you have to accommodate? Because that's another thing that they've cited in the statement, is that they're following the policy for diversity, equity and inclusion. So you have to then draw a line between, okay, where does diversity finish and where does exclusion start? Because it can't be that any form of difference is exclusion. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a policy which is about diversity. So there's a degree of diversity that you have to allow according to your own policy and according to the Equality Act 2010.
You've got to be consistency. Consistency is
that's
the key.
It's
the key, because if you don't show consistency, then you're showing favoritism. Or it can be perceived as favoritism.
Or to use the terms from the Equality Act 2010, which have also been included within the diversity, equality and inclusion policy of the college, it could constitute indirect discrimination. If there's a lack of consistency, then that's an example of indirect discrimination. So when we talk about discrimination, people often think it's directly. So if they turned around and said, we're not allowing you to do this event because you're Muslims, that would be direct discrimination. That's not the issue here. The issue here is direct discrimination because no one said that.
No one said that.
So the issue here is indirect discrimination. What the issue is here, that you've set up a standard. So that standard which you've set, you may argue it's a neutral standard. But even if you adopt a neutral standard and neutral criterion, and that criterion puts at a disadvantage a particular community, for example, the Muslim community in this case, then that falls under indirect discrimination in the Equality Act 2010. And people don't appreciate this. People just think discrimination has to be direct. No, not according to the Equality Act. This is also a form of discrimination which is more prominent in society.
Definitely.
In your statement on Facebook, that you posted a few months ago. You were saying Blackburn College have been disingenuous in their statements. What does that mean, and where did that come from?
So, in the second statement I made, because the college had mentioned